All right, this episode is sponsored by Pareto Holdings, which was founded by John Oringer and Ed Lando to invest and incubate the next generation of startups. John and Ed and the team at Pareto are launching and incubating companies based right here in Miami. Recently they just announced that the Pareto Pre-Seed program, which aims to be the first check-in to help founders get their ideas off the ground. And I think what makes this program really interesting, and I've talked to the team over there, is that they're going to try to get back to applicants that are trying to start these companies within 48 hours and make investment decisions after one short call. That means that founders can have pre-seed funding in their accounts in as little as a few days. So if you want to learn more about this program, visit pareto20.com. That's PARETO20.com. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 30 of the Miami Tech Pod. I'm Cesar and I'm joined by Maria and Brian. And we have a really special guest with us this week. We have Jadon Johnson on the pod. For those that don't know, for all of those listeners who've been under a rock, Jadon is one of the organizers of Miami Hack Week. He's on the marketing team at Upstream. He's a scout for Wing and Florida Funders, and is just all around, filled with energy and excitement and building the community here in Miami. So Jadon, welcome to the Miami Tech Pod, man.
Hello. I'm finally happy to make it on the pod. This is my first time. And glad to be sharing it at this special occasion.
Absolutely, man. And, this is a really exciting week here in Miami Tech. Why don't you share a little bit with the listeners, like what Miami Hack Week is all about?
Yeah, so Miami Hack Week is one of the first mega federated hackathons that we're having. So we took your standard hackathon, which is like bringing 1,000 people and putting them in a big old conference room, and they stay and work there for 42 hours. And instead, we distributed the hackathon across the city. And had hackathon houses, and then had like a central space that anybody from the community could come in and join. So we brought in around like 400 engineers from here in Miami, from across Latin America, and also from different places in the United States, and everybody's just like building here and exploring the city of Miami.
That's amazing. I've been lucky enough to visit some of the hack houses, and they're ridiculous. They're wonderful. But I would love for you to tell us a little bit of, I know that this isn't your first rodeo. You've planned quite large hackathons. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of your past and how you got involved with this hackathon?
And was this a bougiest hackathon? Like, that's what we got to start with first.
I think that's definitely a great question. Growing up, I was born and raised in Jamaica, and growing up in Jamaica, we didn't really have a computer science program in our universities and our high school. So I took it up on myself. I got exposed to one hackathon, and I took it up on myself and brought that hackathon to Jamaica. This was back in 2014, and then it was 60 people who showed up, right? But what I experienced that weekend was absolutely life-changing. Just interacting with other young engineers in Jamaica's tech ecosystem, and then seeing them build this sense of community. Many of those people are still best friends today. And then there are people we introduced to coding all the way back in 2015. We were helping them write their first line of code, and today they are software engineers at Google, at Microsoft, and have worked for some of the leading tech companies. So I've absolutely just loved throwing and hosting hackathons. And obviously this is the most bougie one. I've never done a hackathon in a mansion before. But I feel like it's very on brand with Miami. And we did not, I think Rob Wild in the Miami Herald said, we spared no dollars in making sure that people experience the best of Miami.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And so how many, for our listeners who aren't familiar with it, how many hack houses are there in total?
Yeah, so we have about 11 hackathon, what we call official hack houses. So most of these official houses are sponsored by whether a startup or a corporate company. And then the engineers get to go there and work during the days. They get to work on specific themed projects in these different houses. So yeah, and then we have a massive space. We have like almost 16,000 square foot of space between the Oasis and the Oasis Annex that we're using, to host just like anybody else who'd like to be a part of this experience.
I mean, this is really awesome. I love sort of what you guys have done with this, and I'm curious, like, are there already plans to do this again, in the future?
Yeah, I work with some incredibly insane people, and I mean that in the best way possible. But working with Lucy and Dave, like Dave has these crazy visions, including probably doing the next Miami Hack Week in January. So yeah, we do hope to continue this, and like for us, it only grows from here. There are definitely things we want to do better, and areas we want to improve on, like the next time, which includes ensuring that maybe like 1,000 students are just coming from our local universities alone, because we have the capacity to do that. So now it's like a more like for like we validated that yes, people enjoy this as a concept. People are willing to participate in an experience like this, and that companies are also willing to be a part of an experience like this. And if people aren't like just from our videos alone, there's just like massive FOMO. So the next time around, we can kind of just plug those very small gaps that overall makes this an amazing experience across the board, and also meaningfully includes all communities.
But by the way, I see the play here, right? Like you guys are doing one now. Dave is talking about January, then the next one's going to be March, and then the next one's April, and before you know it, like hack week every week, right? Is that the overall goal?
Well, we are trying to accelerate the talent that we can bring here, because like we're running from this hypothesis in that one is you bring talent from some of these other like thriving ecosystems. They come here, and then there's a role they get to play in our community, right? So I remember like on day one, there's a guy who's like, listen, I really love it here and I'm looking to move to Miami. What are some of like the local programs that help students get into computer science education? And I was just like, yes, like these are the types of questions we like, because when you move, you are going to start like building community. And as like engineers with experienced backgrounds come, they're going to start supporting other engineers in our community, and that will overall lead to the growth of this like supply of talent within Miami's tech ecosystem. So that's like priority number one. We want 5,000 engineers to move to Miami, and if we need to do like a hackathon every single weekend to help make that happen, we're in for the crazy.
So Jadon, tell me something. What's the most ambitious project you've seen someone trying to build this week? Or what's the one that you've been like, damn, that's cool. I wish I was on this team.
Man, people have been trying to do it all, but I feel like one idea that really impressed me so far, one for just like its level of thoughtfulness, and then two, I was just very excited because these were a bunch of local students, and they literally stay here working until 3 a.m. every single night, and then they are also the first ones I see when I come in at 8 a.m. And they're basically building a dashboard to help first responders collect information from somebody who calls. So let's say the idea is you dial 911, that first responder can send you a link. And then kind of using their interface, right? You can take pictures, you can like tell them what's happening. It runs like a live record search and tells you like all the people who live in a particular address, so that they can just like easily pinpoint and get all the information that they need right up front to provide care or support for that person who's on the other end of the line.
Yeah, I can't wait to see like the videos of all the different things get presented. I assume you guys are going to be publishing them all on the Miami Hack Week website, right?
Yeah, that's totally the goal. So yeah, like if people can watch all of it. So there are two things. All our projects will be available on DevPost. So you can kind of see what everybody's working on, and then we're going to be like publishing those final videos and the live stream from our closing expo, so people can see. Also, the closing expo is open to the community. So like anybody from anywhere can actually travel to our venue today, and actually there we have like 2 hours of just like people standing behind tables, sharing their ideas with whoever is interested.
Let me ask this question: Have you already gotten a little bit of a have you heard some rumblings of people like I think I could live here, right? Like some of the out of towners like thinking a little bit about kind of dipping their toes into whether or not this is a place like they'd actually want to relocate to.
Oh, certainly. It's not hard to sell Miami. We like I feel like once people land here, um, once people land here, it's like done. So it isn't much of a hard sell, and these participants have been having such an incredible time, just between like us hosting parties every single night, them being in more like intimate environments. So remember, like being in these hackathon houses, you're with at most like 15 to 20 people at any one point, right? So chances are these are like your new best pals that you're gonna be like trying everywhere with. So they want that, and then they come and they meet like locals, who are just like some of the nicest people ever, and they like want to be a part of that. So the real question is, I don't know who here is like halfway in, halfway out, or even just like have reconsidered what they probably whatever like notion it is that they had about Miami, and that it's like just like mostly play and very little work.
This is what you need to do in the expo, all right? You need to get on stage. You got to be like, all right, everybody, take out your phones, open your airline app, cancel your flight. Let's go.
Oh yeah, a bunch of people have actually extended trips too. Yeah, that's one of the things. Like there are people who are like, who I personally, they're like, oh yeah, we need to meet. I was like, yeah, I probably can't talk to you in like 2 weeks, and they're like, that's cool. I'm extending my stay in Miami. I was like, perfect.
We need to have a realtor on call today at the event at the expo. Like, here you go, sign your lease.
Exactly.
That'd be the move. Full service suite there. You had like the DMV on site, the moving company, like that for January. Like these are upgrades for sure.
Especially in January for a lot of these people, wherever they're coming from.
Exactly.
Well, Jadam, we're so excited that you were able to join. We know today's crazy with the final day happening. So really, really appreciate you giving us some time. Want to put out any kind of ask or tell people how they can get in touch with you?
Yeah. Like as I said, like the big thing in validating this concept now is that hopefully people understand the vision. Like to be fair, there was like some hesitation. Some people are like, oh my god, like this is too good to be true. Some people call this like a next version of Firefest, but you guys have seen it. Like anything we promised, all the milestones actually exist. All the people had an incredible time. So if you were hesitant before, like jump in, and I can promise you that between Dave, Emily, Lucy, everybody here on the Miami Hack Week team, we are just like open to feedback, to any insight, and we want the community to be a part of this. And one of the reasons we designed this event the way we designed it is that literally anybody can decide to host anything during Miami Hack Week. So like this is a shared experience that we're just helping to foster as organizers, but this is for the community, and obviously by people who just like absolutely enjoy living here, being here, and just like helping to contribute to the community. So my ask is, as we think about Miami Hack Week 2.0, keep it on your radar and think about how is it that you're going to be activating Miami Hack Week in your community. If it's just like your 4 friends or the company you work for, just like whatever that means to you.
I feel like you already need to put up a form on the site to say, hey, want to sign up for your next hack house? Because I think a lot of people were kind of having a wait and see approach, and now you've proven and shown that it's an incredible event. So I think it's going to really draw a lot more people to the next one.
And really quick before I know Maria was trying to be conscious of time here, wrap up, but like what's been the best house so far? I mean, don't hedge, be honest with us. Like which is the most impressive showing here?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the honest answer is the 305 Dragon House.
I love it.
Yeah, it's like absolutely incredible. Plus, like when you walk in, there's like two chefs, who's just like right there cooking, and I was just like, this is the place to be.
They have a koi pond, right? Like in like waterfalls and all sorts of,
Yeah, everything.
they're not messing around. I got some insights on the stuff that they're actually building. It's pretty neat and useful. So I feel like I'm definitely excited to post demo to see all of these ideas like come to fruition, and some of them are, you would imagine, are actually going to be rolling into to real either products or business lines or projects from these companies, right?
Yeah, and actually, I'm glad you mentioned it, because that was one of the very interesting things about the 305 Dragon House, is that 305 Ventures have actually committed to investing into a couple of the projects that are started. So they're doing like micro checks or investments into these ideas, which is going to be incredible. Like hackathons aren't traditionally spaces for like I said, building businesses. But every now and then you do find excellent ideas that come from hackathons, or it's all almost like an initial playground where engineers or some talented people pivot into the world of entrepreneurship. And just like the other day, I was talking with Damien Belimio, and he was just like sharing that he actually hosted a hackathon, and gave 30K to the founder of what is Brex today. And that was kind of like one of the early stage launching grounds for his career. So hopefully we get a little Brex coming from Miami Hack Week. I would not be mad about that at all.
I mean, look, this is night and day for some hackathons we were hosting and startup weekends and things like that 10 years ago. I'm really curious is like how much are people like cross pollinating across houses? Are there real rivalries forming? I need some gossip, Jadon. Come on,
Game of Thrones style.
Spill the tea. Yeah, Game of Thrones. Who's in House Targaryen versus House Dragon? I mean, it's pretty fitting that there's a House Dragon and all.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there's gonna be like FOMO if you aren't staying in some houses, because some houses have like sponsored prizes, right? We're just like, this is exclusively for people who stayed in our house. But we also design the event in such a way where the socials are open to anybody, regardless of what house you're staying in. So that allows for the cross pollination, and like just the other day I was at Chris Adamo's Wednesday Mixer, and like I was just like instantly reminded of the years of work that has gone into enabling this to happen today. Like without people like Maria, Brian, just like the work that you guys have done in Miami's community, like you have made my life so much easier. Because I know what it's like. Like when I started my first hackathon in Jamaica, I like, first of all, I remember being exclusively, I was told that nobody's going to associate themselves with anything that has to do with hacking. So just like we can come into a space and people hear the term hackathon and they understand what it means, like that puts us like miles ahead in terms of making something like this a reality. So we're just like incredibly grateful for the support that we received from the local community and from other like leaders in the ecosystem who have just like played a role in helping us like move things forward.
So, Jadon, I think for the next one in January, what you need to do is get Argo to provide self-driving cars, like sort of like a shuttle service between the houses. Get Argo and Ford to chip in, a dozen cars that just run 24/7. Like bringing people to the houses, bringing them to the social events. And like that would be the dopest sort of tech perk you could throw in there. That, maybe some Teslas or something like that.
Alex Roy, if you're listening.
Yeah, one of our favorite listeners.
You have some homework, buddy.
And Brian, I think I heard him. He's offering up his sweet new house as a hack house. No.
I'm pretty sure my wife, with our probably by then newborn baby, will be thrilled to have a bunch of like devs hanging out the house, eating all our food and keeping a baby up all night, So
amazing. Jadon, thanks so much, man, for joining the pod. We really are just proud to see all of this energy and excitement that you've helped organize here, and we can't wait to promote and help you build and the rest of the organizers build the next one. I mean, this is really value add for the community here, and I think a lot of good things are going to come from it, man.
No, thank you so much for having me. And Maria and Brian are two of first of all, on Sunday I called Maria at 1 p.m. because I forgot to rent a podium, because that just stuff like that happens sometimes. And within an hour she had it sorted out. So literally I'm not kidding when I say I'm so grateful to the people in the community that continue to support this, because they add the little details that helps to make things work. So yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, if you don't follow Jadon and I on Twitter, we're constantly just in a love fest with each other, saying how much we appreciate each other.
Exactly.
So thank you. We're so grateful to have you in the community. So thank you for all you do.
Take care, man.
And Jadon, no pressure, but you're the next generation to carry the mantle, so it's all on you going forward.
Yeah, man. Don't fuck it up.
I'll try.
We're all getting too old over here, so
I'll try my best.
All right, man. Take care. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
All right, that was awesome. In other news here, we have some more details of the Softbank Operator School, right, Brian? I know that's a partnership with the local universities here, and some really exciting, lecturers and programs have been announced associated with that. You're involved in the planning, right?
So I'm on the planning committee, or whatever you want, planning group. It's first of its kind, big private sort of semi-public partnership between all three local major institutions in Dade County, MDC, FIU, and UM. We're going to be teaching a similar course on each campus, and then there's also going to be an operator school class open to the public for non-credit bearing students and stuff. And that's going to be an interesting
I didn't realize
thing.
that. Yeah, I didn't realize it was open to the public. I thought it was kind of specific to the curriculum of these schools.
No, I think what we're trying to address with this project is someone like Softbank is always hiring people, and they're always growing in their portfolio. And so they want to make sure there's enough of a pipeline of people who've seen others build cool stuff. And so there's some really interesting speakers that are going to be coming, teaching these master classes, like the co-founder of Flappy, some other cool startups like Hobby, and some fintech companies and things like that. So it's a great opportunity for anybody, and there may be some surprise masterclass guests of some well-known people who haven't been announced yet too.
Ooh.
So I can't say who those will be or when, but I think it's worth anybody in the community checking it out.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list now. So we have a couple friends of the pod here that are going to be speaking. The mayor. We have QuickNode co-founder Austin Bunson, a good friend of ours here, but also I'm looking at the speakers list here. We have Carlos Garcia, the founder and CEO of Kavak, Marcelo, the CEO of Buser, Cesar Carvalho, co-founder and CEO of Gympass, Matthew from Lula, of course, and a bunch of others. So it looks like it's going to be like a good mix of people that have been grinding and building companies. And I personally think that that's the most valuable, right? When you actually are getting the inside scoop of all of the pain points and successes that founders actually building companies are, and rather than some professor who's maybe not hasn't had his hands dirty or her hands dirty in building a company in the last few years. So I think it's going to be pretty valuable.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a great opportunity for folks, but that's not the only interesting news. There's another interesting company out of Boca, which has been around for a while. They've been collecting plastics out of the ocean and turning them into jewelry, and now they're doing also, I think, apparel too out of this stuff. And what's neat is they're launching drones to collect plastics from the beach, and so soon we'll be seeing these little like lawnmower looking things going up and down the beach, cleaning up trash off the beach in, I think, Del Rey and further north. But I mean, that's pretty cool. I think it's interesting to see the mixture of robotics and sustainability and clean tech or climate tech or whatever you want to call it, and the company's called 4Ocean.
Cool. So how does it work? They actually like deploy autonomous, like not vehicles per se, but like actual drones and like robots to go pick up trash themselves, or is it to spot the areas where there's trash and like streamline like manual labor?
So I think these things look like those Roomba lawnmower things. So it just goes up and down the beach, in a pattern, sifting through and picking up little bits of plastic, which these microplastics are getting into fish. They're getting into our food supply and all that stuff. And so I think then turn that.
You nailed it, right? It's a Roomba for the ocean. For
it's a beach Roomba.
Yeah,
it's a beach Roomba.
Yeah. Man, that's smart. I feel like that could be a pretty popular thing because one from an experience standpoint, like no one wants to chill on a dirty beach, right? And two, like the amount of like just the budget that it takes for these municipalities to hire a bunch of people to go every single day and pick up little things. And for the most part, they're going to like pick up the large pieces that are like really noticeable, but probably miss a bunch of the smaller kind of like, micro plastics, as you put it, or smaller pieces of plastic and junk. And I think it's a pretty neat business.
So I don't know these guys at 4Ocean, but I have a piece of it. I have a business idea for them. I think they should commercialize these robots by having them draw designs or logos on the beach using the pattern. Right, this could open up a whole new slew of revenue for them, drawing Coca-Cola or whoever as they clean the beach. I mean, look, this could be 10x their valuation.
Instead of those massive LCD billboards that we started seeing on these boats now.
Oh man, that's brilliant. Like, because that's what
I'm here for. I only bring brilliant ideas, Cesar. Haven't you learned this over 30 episodes?
That's how you proposed to Julia, right? Like, will you marry me? Written on Miami Beach, was that? And then like you flew over Ariel, or
sadly the technology wasn't there yet, so we had to limit it to just a Skywriter. But
perfect. Awesome. And what other companies are making moves here before we wrap? I know actually Traba was one that announced like a $3.6 million seed round. They're essentially
wasn't this like an old coworker of yours, Cesar, at Uber, Mike Shabbat?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we like completely overlapped and worked closely together, but he definitely worked at Uber around the same time, and or Uber Eats around the same time. And it's interesting because that like this is a fascinating business in my mind, right? Like they are creating a marketplace, so to say, of like temporary workers that can fill shifts at warehouses. And I think that as delivery, and these guys know this, obviously having had their chops at Uber Eats and building kind of like a delivery company, but like as we start seeing the Amazonification of like e-commerce, and like we start seeing a lot more kind of like distributed delivery services like GoPuff that has a bunch of different warehouses and all that. The number of warehouse jobs are just going to completely, double, triple, quadruple over time. And the one or like a disruption in that, in that kind of like operation could be pretty damaging to like the business. So they, I think, are planning to like create this marketplace of workers that can just easily come in and fill shifts and make sure that there's like a streamlined operational efficiency at these warehouses. What are your thoughts of this? I know they raised a lot of money in their seed round, and I know they had, I think it was led by Founders Fund and a couple other investors. This seems promising, no?
I'm bullish on this. I think if I was going to work at a startup this early stage that doesn't have a product or anything like that yet, this would be one of the ones I would consider working at. So, I mean, maybe we should have Mike or his co-founder on the show at some point, to give us
we invited him when
the lowdown.
Busy. Yeah, he's busy building, but he said he's going to come up in coming weeks. And kind of going back to what you were saying, Brian, about working for them. I know that they're hiring a ton now, right? I think there's like a Notion page that they put up with a bunch of different roles. So if you're looking for joining an exciting team, take a look at Traba.
That's awesome.
Which I realize is short for trabajo, which I think you guys had to point out and put the two together.
Yeah, Maria. Oh man, that's awesome. Cool. All right, let's wrap this episode. This was episode 30. We got some exciting things coming down in the next couple of weeks. Will be back. We got some cool guests. We're also, the pod is growing. I mean, we're about to hit 2,000 followers on Twitter. So thank you so much for everyone who's interacted with us on there, who's liked and subscribed to the show and shared it with your friends. It really means a lot. So thank you so much. And we will be with you on episode 31 next week.